Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah.
Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. You can make it round the world with the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. It's a popcorn world.
Now it's time for Believe in the ACC with our starting lineup. From Florida State, number 17, Charlie Ward. From Morehead State University, number 50, Lloyd Span. And from Murray State University, number 2, Kendrick Haskett. Get ready for the best sports show about the ACC in all the land. Believe in the ACC starts now.
Do it, I want it to be good. But
I didn't hear words you say.
I'm giving this great intro and nobody's hearing it. Okay. I said,
yeah, because the music was too loud. Okay. You got to bring the music down.
Well, in the new equipment that's coming, I'll be able to. I'll be able to manipulate that. Like,
good morning.
We're over here mastering. I'm trying to master this whistle, but it's a tricky. It's a lot of movements to whistle. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. I got a question for you and Charlie coming out of the gate. This is Believe in the ACC, by the way. If you're listening through audio, this is Believe in the ACC. I got a question. What made you pick your jersey number? I know I picked mine, but what made you guys pick your jersey number? So I'll start with the great Charlie Ward. 17. That's a different. You were the only 7. Have you been the only 17 then and since? Because I don't remember any other 17s.
No, there were guys before me. Bill Capice was the kicker. He wore number 17.
Don't do that, Charlie. Don't do that. What, really? Bill Capice, the kicker, is who you going with? That's what you're offering us as a 17?
Why is this surprising to you?
You just asked me. Like who did I know? So I said that's who I knew before I got there. He's number 17. He's the kicker, Bill Capice. That's who I grew up watching it.
Charlie Ward.
Yeah, Charlie was a punter, so he may.
You know what Charlie
he may have had a Bill Capice poster on his wall when he was a child.
Let's start with you today, Charlie Ward.
I'm just saying that was the guy that I grew up watching that wore 17 before me.
I can promise you, this is the first time in history that someone has said on a podcast, I was all in on Bill Capice. I was all in.
Hey.
That is not happening on any other podcast but this one.
Hey, Charlie spent time as a kicker.
He did. So that's true. Okay,
it stands to reason.
Your fandom started in a very unique place. I'll just say that, Charlie. But Was
But,
Bill Caprice the reason why you picked 17?
No. But,
Okay.
So back to the original question. Why were
Right,
you number
right.
17?
well, one of my heroes was Doug Williams, so that's how I chose number 17.
Doug.
There you
I
go.
always forget about Doug. Doug doesn't get the love he probably deserves. Like, Doug is
No.
a legend.
No, he does not
He
get
was
this.
on some bad teams, and
He was. That's what. And
he had to go through those years. But then he got
What
opportunity in Washington, which he took advantage of and ended up winning the
what
Super
a
Bowl.
fantastic ending. Yeah.
So he was the first African American quarterback to win a Super Bowl,
Yes.
which is commendable. But I keep going back. I know we just had Black History Month,
Sure.
and we're going through women's recognition or Women's Month,
Mm-hmm.
and the Black pioneers get brought up a lot, and I just wonder, like, to some people, like, do they understand, like, why we celebrate like these people?
They don't.
They don't.
Which to me shows just a lack of understanding of our history.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you feel like when someone says they were the first whatever Black, that means that we really didn't have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Or the first woman or the first whatever, we really didn't have a chance until someone broke that mold and
Mm-hmm.
thought process. And so I'm always curious, like, when people hear that, do they understand that we're not that far off right now, and that's the reason why we need certain accountabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, we don't need that anymore. Well,
Yeah, we do.
yes, we do. Because if not, it'll be an afterthought.
Trying to white balance over there, Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm doing my Kendrick Haskins. First of all,
Your white
Charlie,
balance is fine. It's the focus. That's all.
It's the focus.
So-
That's what I'm trying to get it to lock in.
So why don't we have black balance?
Well, Charlie Ward, you absolutely saved that Bill Caprice thing. That let me start there. But,
I'm just saying,
but you're
we
1,000% correct.
We balance too.
Yeah.
The white balance is for the camera.
Is that what you said?
Charlie messing with you.
Charlie's fantastic. First of all, you're 1,000% correct. It's amazing to me, Charlie, how someone's struggle has now been classified as someone else's guilt. And
Right.
we're not asking you to be guilty. We're just saying, because if we're being honest, most of you weren't there. So
Right.
the people that are actually guilty, they've gone on. But can we at least all acknowledge that there was an unfair thing,
Yes.
and this guy was able to somehow get past all of that, and that is a significant thing. So I don't know why that's threatening in whatever way that is threatening.
The only thing we're asking for is for a level playing field. That's all we ask for.
That's all we've ever asked for. Just
Yep.
Can we start the race from the same line?
Right.
Yeah. That's all we want. Yeah. So I don't know, but this turned really good. I didn't know where this Bill Caprice thing was going, but it turned out really good. Okay, Kendrick, what made you choose your number?
Because I was a big Larry Johnson fan, and he wore number 2 at UNLV.
I was gonna say my selection is not nearly as significant as Charlie's. I was a center, and in my mind, I gotta have a center's number. It was Ralph Sampson.
Yeah.
That was it. So,
Makes sense.
I used to think Ralph Sampson was one of the best things I'd ever seen in my life. Like, and the way he would palm the ball and just manipulate the flow of the game. I was like, God, that dude is insane. That's why I thought the Houston Rocket team, I said, man, they're going to win championship for the next 10 years. Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson, how do you stop that? Apparently it's easier to stop than I thought.
Well, they got a chip. Didn't they get one? I know they lost to the Celtics. They lost to the Celtics.
No, they got to one, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think they never. Well, because Ralph never actually took the next step for whatever reason.
Right.
He never took that next step, and so it just never materialized. But on the surface, coming out of college, it looked like it was going to be.
It looked like Wemby.
Oh my goodness! You're like, they're not going to lose the game for the next 10 years.
So long and wiry.
Yeah, and they had complementary games. Like they never got in each other's way, which is weird because they essentially did the same thing. But you know, it's crazy also how fast Hakeem passed him skill wise.
Right.
Because I think when they left college, would you agree, Charlie? When they left college, they were relatively. I'm not gonna say they were relatively even. Because I think Ralph was a better offensive player than Hakeem was leaving college. But what Ralph lacked in defense, well, I can't even say that because Ralph blocked a lot of shots. I don't know. It was just amazing how when they got to the pros, it felt like Hakeem just kind of blew right past him. It was just, Ralph didn't make the same matriculation as Hakeem did.
Hakeem developed that footwork.
Yeah.
When he was in the NBA.
There's levels to this. There's levels to this. There's levels. All right. Well, anyway, we're here. That's I brought.
I was also a big Deion fan too, so that's also why I wore number 2 in college.
Oh, that's right. Deion was a number 2, wasn't he?
Yep.
I'd love to ask you why he switched to 21 at some point.
Because they couldn't wear single. They couldn't. Well, part of it, they couldn't wear single numbers back then.
Right, unless you were a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably it. That's actually probably it.
Why?
Okay. All
right. Why was that an issue?
They still got rules when it comes to numbers. They're not as tight as they were back then. But yeah, back then you couldn't even wear number 0 until a couple of years ago. That's why everybody started wearing number 0. The NFL has this uniform rule. There can't be a league with stricter uniform rules than the NFL.
Yeah.
Remember they fined Peyton Manning for wearing Johnny Unitas cleats?
Yeah, I don't know why they're so shoe conscious in the NFL. Like, why do the shoes? Like,
the socks all had to be the same. That's the whole thing in the NFL.
I can safely and definitively say I have never looked at a player's shoes in the history of my fandom in the NFL. I could care less. I
notice them now because I see a lot of people wearing Jordans, and I think that's cool looking. But yeah.
The only thing I care about your shoes is you're not slipping when it's cold and icy.
They were honoring Johnny Unitas in the game, and Peyton Manning either wore cleats like him or he wore his socks like him. It was something that he got fined for it. Yeah,
probably had to be the same color, or there's a color issue. That normally was the case at one point, where they had to be the same color. Whether it was white, it could be a variation of white.
And that may have been what it was. I think they had everybody was wearing white cleats and he was wearing black.
Yeah, so I think that's what it was. I know back in our day, it had to be, if you were wearing white, everyone had to wear white, whether it had whatever colors you had on them, that was the deal. But the majority of it had to be white.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing.
I think that's what it was.
Black. Yeah. If you wearing black shoes, you could have some color on it, but it had to be majority black.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It
was good because they would fine you, and I'm still trying to figure out where that fine money go.
It's supposed to go to the NFL charities. That's what they say. I've never heard of what
are the NFL charities?
That's a good question. Salvation Army seems like a big NFL charity.
in Dallas. I don't see anybody else give it to the Salvation Army.
I've seen Salvation Army stuff, but yeah, mostly
let us not
Dallas
find
is-
out that the coffers are being refilled. That's all I'm saying.
they go somewhere. I'm sure the NFL's printing
I hope
money.
so.
So.
I hope so.
Do they need a oversight committee to go in and purge their
No. Not the current, not in the current administration. We don't need them to do any more poking around, folks. We're fine. We'll save this for down the road. Let's kick this kid down the road a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, we're here. We are here. We are down to the wire, and the tournaments have begun. I don't want to skip over something that happened last night that is extremely significant. As the women's tournament has begun, and we saw a few upsets last night, maybe the most untalked about story that we've had in NCAA this year. I've watched a few games, so I saw it hinted around, but now we are finally here. It appears that the Stanford women's Cardinals will not make the playoffs or not make the tournament this year.
Yeah. After that loss last night to Clemson.
That is
but they
wild.
They have a good recruiting class coming in.
Well, I hope so, because it's weird not seeing the Stanford women be good.
Right.
36 straight appearances in the tournament. And you know what's funny? This year, you kind of, when you watch them, they're not a bad team. There's a cohesive thing that's not quite there this year. And then they got kind of stripped down. Let's also be fair. They've lost
a lot in the last couple of seasons.
They lost a lot the last couple of seasons. And that's where Betts was, right? Am I crazy? Am I off on that? They had a center that was significant there that left. I want to say it's Betts, but I could be wrong about that.
The center that was there, she's playing. Or she got injured at one point, but she was with the Sparks.
Yeah, I think
you're talking about Brink. Yeah, Brink was there. But I thought Betts was there too. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I could be wrong about that. I don't remember. But
if she did, she left early, like
her
freshman year.
Yeah, whoever it was, they left almost immediately. Yeah, it was like they did a season and then they were out of there. So but the bottom line is they got hit by a transfer, they got hit by people leaving, and they just, I don't know, for whatever reasons, they were not able to significantly restock.
But this is, this is par for the course in a lot of ways, because you're starting to see teams that were really dominant at one point, not dominant, but, in the mix a lot, are starting to hit, I say rock bottom, but they're starting to hit bottom periodically. And it won't be the first team. There'll be some others that will probably start to hit the same type of slide because of graduation, because of transfers, whatever it may be, or coaches change. I mean, what do you think is going to happen in UConn when Coach Ariyama decide, it's time to move on? I mean, there's going to be they may do okay early. Speaking of UConn, you heard about the potential merger between the Big East and the ACC?
I saw Patino throw that out there.
Well, listen, if Rick is throwing it out, it's
okay. Betts was at Stanford. She played 33 games.
I thought she was there for like a half a second or something, and then she was
there for the 22-23 season. She was there.
Yeah,
she averaged 6 points and 3 rebounds a game.
How bad would they have needed her right now? Like, that would have made a significant difference in their season. So I don't know. It's when you keep losing players, you can't really recover. Where did Jada didn't play at Stanford, did she?
She played at Cal.
She played Cal. So I thought, okay, I knew it was West Coast. I was back 12. But yeah, I don't know. That's a shock. It's shocking to me. It's very shocking that they're out, or that they've had to see. Now, to be fair, they technically had a winning season, 16-14, so they were above 500, but it did not go the way they thought it would go. So, and then last night, Virginia beat Pittsburgh, and then we saw I guess it was an upset. No, it wasn't an upset. Boston College over Syracuse. Is that
12 and 13? There's no upset. And
Yeah,
none of these should have been upsets, really. I mean, except for probably Stanford, the way they lost.
Yeah.
Right.
They were treating the Syracuse like it was an upset, which I don't know why the ACC network was treating it that way last night. I was like, this is not, Syracuse wasn't good like all season. So I don't get that, but you know,
Syracuse's demise is weird. I know they lost their coach, but I mean, they went from being pretty good to losing everybody all in like a 2 or 3 year span. Yeah. That's crazy.
So, as we prepare for today's games, Boston College will take on North Carolina. Georgia Tech will take on Virginia Tech. That'll be an interesting one. Virginia will take on California, and then the closeout of the night, Clemson and Louisville. They will be in the prime time ACC network game in the second round. So I don't anticipate any surprises tonight, though. Maybe the Georgia Tech Virginia Tech will be. I would think
that could be a good game.
Tonight.
It's 8-9.
Yeah,
I mean,
that could go either way.
That means they're competitive or they're comfortable.
Yeah. So that'll be an interesting one tonight. As it stands, gentlemen, how this affects the bracketology. The Hokies, the Virginia Tech Hokies, are still the first team in Charlie Creen's ESPN. They are looked at as still the first team out. So Virginia Tech 1,000% needs this win. Like, they need to stack a couple of wins probably to assure that they're going to get into the dance. I think everybody else is probably safe. Like, they're probably okay. Like, Georgia Tech I think Georgia Tech win or lose, they're probably in. Their record's pretty solid. North Carolina's solid. California's for sure solid.
I need to know for scouting. I need to know for scouting purposes. Does North Carolina have all of their players back?
That's a great question. Let's see.
Because I know they had a couple, or at least one player, one of the better players that was sitting out because of injury.
That is a great question. You guys talk amongst yourselves while I give Charlie Ward that research.
I just need to know.
It feels like a very Seminole-based question.
Yeah, it seems like there's
however you want to
some rooting interest.
However you want to frame it.
I feel like there's some rooting interest behind this question, Charlie.
Right. I don't know what is driving this question, but it feels very Seminole-based.
So Duke beat us on Sunday or whenever it was.
Right.
So they got them the 3 seed, and that's the 4 seed, because North Carolina lost, and I think Louisville lost. So
yeah, Louisville lost to Notre Dame.
So yes, so Louisville went from, they kind of flipped. North Carolina.
According according to Jaden Watson Fisher from the Charlotte Observer. And I don't know how much access they're going to give me here, so we'll see. You're talking about Alyssa Utsby and Renaya Kelly, who has not played the last 2 games. Will they make it back? I refuse to pay for that, though. I'm just
we need them to rest and get prepared and ready for the tournament, the big tournament. We need them to rest.
I don't think that's going to happen, Charlie.
Let's see. She rested last week, so I think you might be out of luck. It looks like Alyssa for sure is going to be back.
As long as we're healthy.
Renaya is the one I don't know about. But Alyssa Utsby is going to be back.
Kelly I think is the guard. She's one of the point guard.
So we will keep monitoring that story.
Well, we'll see tonight.
Only to keep.
Oh,
yeah, we'll find out tonight.
We'll see here in a few minutes. They get ready to,
well, I was gonna say, I think they got the early game too.
Yeah, they playing at 11.
They play the early game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They'll be playing here in just about 20 minutes.
Well, an hour and 20 minutes.
No, it's what. 10 a.m. Oh no. I'm sorry. You're right.
11.
I got 10 a.m. set. It's ESPN is custom made to my Central Time, so I got it. Okay, yeah. So we'll find out. I have a sneaky suspicion they're both playing. Which is why they set out those last 2 games.
Thinking it sounds like that's what's going to happen, Charlie.
I wouldn't. Like I said, I'm not holding my breath. I was just asking a question to see how we may need to prepare.
Do you send Coach Brooks notes throughout the week?
Charlie doesn't send her no notes.
Hey, watch out for this, and your zone needs to tighten up, and I mean, I know you guys are close.
No, I don't send her those type of notes.
Okay. You said the prayer quotes and stuff like that.
Just encouragement.
Oh, look at you're like a big brother to her. So you're like her big brother, her mentor.
No. No.
Hilarious. Well, so that's what's going down today in the women's game. The men are wrapping up their season, and I want to ask you guys, because I'm drawing a parallel here, because just when I was ready to give Auburn all this credit, and I was like, I may have been wrong about Auburn. Like, Auburn might be. Then they go last night and get smacked around by Ole Miss, with a late season court storming.
No, was that Texas A&M?
Was that Texas A&M? I thought it was Ole Miss that beat them last night.
No, it was Texas A&M. And it was on, what's today? Thursday. It was on Tuesday.
Who lost last night? Was that Alabama or Auburn?
Alabama lost to Florida last night.
Hold on.
Yeah, Alabama lost at home to Florida.
Yeah.
High scoring game, 99-94.
Tennessee last night. Ole Miss beat Tennessee. Well, listen.
Yeah. Auburn lost to Texas A&M on Tuesday.
There was a lot of losses. Is what I'm saying. My point is, I can't. Just when I was ready to give them credit, they did exactly what I said they were doing. Like they're susceptible. So I want to ask this question, because here's Duke playing great basketball at the right time. Here's Louisville. Right, I was going to say North Carolina. Here's Louisville. Here's North Carolina. All playing great basketball at the right time. So the question I have.
Are you asking this question? The SEC has been lauded as the best conference, which, you can say they have from top to bottom, they have some of the stronger teams. So do you think that they are tired at this point of always having to compete at a high level almost every night just to be where they are. And they won most of those games. Let's not get that wrong. They won most of those games, and they haven't been in the really easy nights. They made easy nights, but they really haven't been in the easy nights. So, do you think you're saying that these top tier teams are fatigued at this point? And
I
because
can see
I've
Duke being
heard,
fatigued because they don't go very deep.
Well, I'll say it this way. This is my opinion. I think when you get this late in the season, if you're a really good team, by now, shouldn't you, and I'll pose the question back to you guys, shouldn't you at some point have learned how to put away teams that you're quote unquote better than?
well,
Like, when does that lesson kick in?
to
Or
be
does
fair,
it ever kick in?
they've lost these games except for Alabama. I think on the road, and playing on the road is a little different. Different. I think I'm not sure if Auburn lost at home. Did they lose at home?
No, Auburn was on the road. Auburn was
Yeah,
at Texas A&M. Texas A&M's a good team. I mean,
yeah. Like so that's what
it
I'm saying.
wasn't like they
You know,
lost to
a bad
Vanderbilt
team. A bad
Well,
team.
they
or
didn't
South
lose to a
Carolina.
bad team, but you don't expect them to lose by 11.
Well, I mean, Texas A&M is a good team. I mean, they play hard. They play the right way, and
Yeah,
they're a
great
good
coach.
team.
Great coach
I
and
I just
Buzz.
I just think. I mean, to me, Auburn has been playing well pretty much all year, and they've had success. And there are a lot of teams like that. Duke is in the same boat. They've been playing well all year. They've just been consistent. That's
Mm-hmm.
the difference is they've just been consistent and played the same way. At some point, you're gonna have where you may not be playing your best basketball, but you're still finding ways to win. That's where you want to be. Um,
Right.
Move because in the playoffs or in the tournament, you're going to be in close games. Like at some point, you're going to be in some close games, and you're going to have to find a way to claw back and get stops and make big shots. I mean, that's just history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you need those type of games where you may not win those games, but you can learn from them. If you win them, that's great. But if you don't, you still have to learn from them. So I just think this is good for Auburn. I think it's good for Alabama. I think it's good for even Duke. Duke, if they lose in the ACC tournament, not saying they will, but I think it'll be healthy for them as they prepare for their stretch run. Because I heard, someone on talk radio talking about should these teams who have, the locks already locked up in a tournament, should they start sitting some of their players um, because of rest and what have you? And I
That's
was
a tough
like, I don't think that's happening in college. Like
one.
college
Yeah.
players are like, if I can play, I'm playing. I'm not
Right.
sitting out.
Right.
I can sit out.
And then I don't even know what the benefit of that would be. Like, I get I rest, but when you're 21, how do
And
you
you, and
rest
the,
at
and the games are
21?
40 minutes with timeouts every 4 minutes. I mean,
I don't know
No,
if that's the answer. I don't know if that gives you any advantage whatsoever.
no,
Yeah.
especially if you're a team that's gonna get a bye. I mean,
Right.
right. Yeah, you're getting
he's,
rest. You're
You're getting
literally
rest.
getting
dou-
rest.
he's
Right.
doubling triple buys or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
you're gonna rest. Like you can get some
You are
rest.
gonna rest. Yeah.
Like after your last game, if you have multiple buys, I'm sure the coach is going to give you a day off. Like
Yeah.
that probably be healthy. Just take a day off. Don't do anything.
Duke's
Do
got to
whatever
play
it
like
is
2
that you want.
games, 2-3 games.
And then we get
Max.
prepared and ready for the tournament. So I don't buy any of that. I think the top tier teams will play, but there will be some upsets as well. I mean, we've seen it
Absolutely.
play out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There always are. There always are. Especially in the ACC tournament. A lot of times it never goes the way the chalk says it should go.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have started to see I think North Carolina at one point being, doubted about getting in.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've taken advantage of their schedule. Let's not sugarcoat that piece.
Yeah.
But they're playing solid basketball. Like they're playing winning basketball on both ends of the floor. And so we'll see how it fares on Saturday because they'll be playing. Hopefully they play much better than they did at Duke. And
Charlie, to that
Robin.
point, I want to ask you this question as a coach. Why do you think it takes so long to find your continuity for some teams? Like for North Carolina, they have literally battled this continuity issue all season long. And now just in these last again, schedule has helped tremendously. So but why do you think it takes so long when you have that type of talent to find that continuity?
Well, who do they have coming back?
Well, R.J. Davis has been there like 12 years.
Yeah. Jalen Withers is in his second or third year.
He's been there like 6. So it's like they had pieces to build around, which you would think with
Trumbull. I say Cadeau, Trumbull.
Yeah.
I think Washington.
Yeah, they had a solid amount of players come back.
So it's odd to me that it would take them this long to find their footing.
Well, as a coach, you really you kind of want it to be this way. If you had a choice, meaning at the beginning, I mean, you want to be consistent. We talk about consistency all the time. You want to win games and be consistent.
Right.
And I think they played some tough teams early in some of the tournaments.
Right.
And didn't fare as well as they would like. But one of the things that you want to be is peaking at the right time.
Right.
Playing, just regardless of who you're playing, but just playing good basketball. And I think R.J. Davis has stepped up his game. There's some things that they may need to shore up, as far as some of the other pieces, which kind of hurts them. But they've been playing good defense as well. I mean, like I said, the teams that they played may not challenge them in that area, but I think they found their groove, and maybe it took them to be on the outside looking in and said, "Hey, we need to pick it up." And I'm just happy that they're doing it because now we at least have 4 legit ACC teams that people can say, we'll have a chance.
100%. Well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds as we head toward the finish line here. Again, as we talked about, big game going on this weekend with Duke and North Carolina. Kendrick, Louisville plays their final game. Is it Stanford that they're playing in their final game?
Yes, they play Stanford at noon on Saturday, which is not very advantageous for Stanford, but,
no,
it's a
not.
noon tip
It's
on Saturday.
And that I would argue for Stanford, that is a game that could go a long way. They have a very outside chance to get to the tournament because they got to get the 20-win mark for sure. It's very. I don't think they've done enough to get
They'd have to make a run in the ACC tournament.
They need a run. They need to stack about 2 or 3 more. Maybe the whole tournament. Charlie,
I know you're trying, but that ain't happening.
It's not happening. Okay, well, I was trying to give the Stanford because they're already not. Listen, Stanford used to be able to say, well, if our men ain't going, we can always count on our women. This is the first time people in Stanford have no vacation plans in March.
Oh, they got vacation plans. They just won't be watching basketball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Usually it's all centered around basketball, and now
whatever.
what are they gonna do?
They
They'll
live
look
in a
through
very
their heads at this point.
They live in a very beautiful area of the world. They're good.
It's going okay. I don't have that much sympathy. I don't have that much sympathy for the Stanford fans. It's going okay. They're doing all right. But yeah, I agree with you, Charlie. There is a legitimacy towards those the top 4 teams. 5 really. I would even throw SMU in there. I think SMU could be interesting in the tournament, especially because of their guard play. Because of their guard play. They got a solid point guard that when he's on, he's decent. He's a good player.
I think we've got 4 teams in the tournament.
Yeah. SMU will get in, I think, but I don't know.
Now they may have to play on Tuesday.
In the play-in games?
It's possible.
Yeah, that's possible.
I think they may land on that line. That play.
So I'm curious to know, how do they decide who's in the play-in game?
That's a great question.
Like how do they break that up? Like if you're in the on the 11 line, you got to play in. Like how do they get 11?
Right. It should just be all 16s.
I understand the concept, like, but how do you just break it off? Like, if you're on the 11 line,
you have to definitely play in. Yeah.
Like you have to play in to get in. Like I didn't understand that. Like I can understand the thought process, but how do they choose like the 11 line? Like why not 13 or 14?
Charlie, you are if you can explain that to me, you are better because I don't get it either. And here's the other part. If you've paid attention the last 5 years, some of the 11 line teams have gone on to beat the 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Like so you're like, then they were in. Like I don't understand why you put them in a play-in situation. Like they apparently they were pretty stinking good. So why?
Right. Yeah, I don't understand that either. It's like so I can see if it was just all the bottom seeds, that makes sense. But an 11 seed is usually pretty firmly into the tournament.
That seems like you got in. It seems like you're solid.
That's what I'm just trying to figure out. Like how do you get 11? Like as a play-in game. Like you said, it should be if it's going to be play-ins, it should be like 16 to 15.
Right.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah. But
I mean, if you got 2 teams is 16, 2 teams is 15, I can understand that deal.
Right.
But why 11?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you on that one, Charlie.
Yeah, that's very strange.
It's the most arbitrary thing that I think they do in the selections. Like, well, they got to play their way in.
And especially when you throw in that the 12 seed. The 5-12 is where the most upsets happen. So the 11 seed is generally considered to be better than the 12 seed.
well, and you know why that is, Kendrick? Because 11 comes before 12. So what do we talk? Like,
you see how that works.
You see how that works? I don't know. Sometimes the NCAA does stuff. You just go, that makes no sense at all. But
sometimes.
Well. Okay. We digress. Okay, so can we give out some love this morning? In a little segment we're gonna start calling "Let's Give Out Some Love," and I think the ACC has given out its women's basketball awards. And
yes, they have.
To the surprise of no one, the ACC Women's Player of the Year is Hannah Hidalgo. The sophomore guard from Notre Dame, which by the way, I think it was if I saw the voting, if this is accurate, it was not as runaway as I thought it would be. Like Tanaya had a considerable amount of votes, which by the way is justifiably so. Because Tanaya has been
statistically her numbers are right there with Hidalgo's.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, I wouldn't have been upset if it went either way.
Yeah, brilliant to see. So she so Player of the Year, Hannah Hidalgo. Also Defensive Player of the Year, Hannah Hidalgo. So an interesting I don't want to call it sweep, but she won both this year. Rookie of the Year, Toby Fournier from Duke. For Coach of the Year, Wes Moore. And I don't know if that's arguable because they really are something. Like they look good at NC State. So that's a really good solid. Yeah. Sixth Player of the Year, Danny Carnegie. And then most improved is Zoe Brooks from NC State. Any problems with anybody on that list, people?
No, I'm good with all of it.
All right.
If they want it, they earned it.
I agree. 100%. I agree. Our very own Jada Curry, friend of the pod, made first team All ACC. So congratulations to her.
Bree did have two first teamers.
I was going there, Charlie. It actually had three. You actually had three. Tanaya made it. Tanaya. Michaela Timpson made it. And then also Omaria Gordon. She got
OMG.
it. Yeah, OMG.
OMG was first team?
She was first team, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who else was on the first?
You see a little surprise on that. Well, it's a weird list because it's a lot of people on first team.
You're right.
How many slots do they have?
I don't understand how this is done, but this is that. So the first team has like 15 names on it. So it's like Hannah Hidalgo, Tanaya Lawson, Olivia Miles, Isaiah James, Michaela Timpson, Sonia Citron from Notre Dame, Kamora Johnson, Sanaya Rivers, Alicia Utsby, we talked about earlier, Khadijah Faye from Pitt, Zoe Brooks, Kara Dunn, Toby Fournier, Jada Curry, and OMG. All on team.
So essentially what it is it's a team. Like it's
an actual team, yes.
A normal team.
Yes. Notable names on the second team. Haley Cavender. I feel like she's been in college a long time too. She's working.
Which one has been dating Carson Beck.
I think it's Haley. I think it's that one.
Is she dating Carson Beck?
Yeah, one of them is. I'm pretty sure it's Haley.
Wow. Okay.
But that's why we figured out he went to Miami.
And he had his Lamborghini and Mercedes stolen, which is crazy.
That sounds about right. In Miami, that sounds about right.
Yeah, they both had their cars stolen.
But that's crazy.
It's crazy that those were his cars that were stolen.
At 100.
Well,
if he had his Nissan Sentra stolen, I'd be like, all right.
What's crazy? What's crazy? That he owns those things or that he thought he could own those things in Miami?
That he owns those things.
Yes, that he
both
owns
are a
those
little
things.
loopy because, bruh, if you thought you were going to be able to get away with owning that in Miami and somebody wasn't going to try to touch you, you're bolder than I thought you were. But
how do you steal a Lamborghini? Like there should be safe. If you're paying that much money,
it should be the safest car in the world.
This should be the safest car in America. Even without a key, even with the key, you shouldn't be able to steal a Lamborghini unless somebody just came and told you. That's something totally different.
Yeah.
Now, if they told you, I can understand. But if they just came and just took the car, like, come on, man, they need to take that Lamborghini back.
Yeah, there's something fishy with all that. Because, I mean, he had 2 cars stolen. She had, a car? She may have had 2 cars stolen, too. I'm like, come on.
Hold on. Well, let's just back up. Why do they have 2 cars?
I think he had 3. I think 2 of his 3 were stolen.
Charlie, he's got to get to practice. She's got to get to practice. I don't know, Charlie.
He's got a photo shoot. She's got a photo shoot.
Right.
Like I said, why do they have? Because they each had cars, like 2 cars.
Right.
It's not. Why do they have to have 2 cars?
Okay, Charlie. Look, the NIL deal that they signed gave them the option for 2 cars. So the
yeah.
dealership delivered 2
And
cars.
those Cavender twins have made a ton of money on NIL.
Oh, they've done quite well. They've done quite well. They may never leave college.
It doesn't feel like it.
And by the way, why should they? They're doing very
They left
well.
college and came back. They quit, but
Right,
they sat out of here.
They had left Miami. They were like, we're going
We are career students now.
Yeah, they got into the WWE at one point. And
college has become a very lucrative business for the star college athlete. They're doing well. And by the way,
you don't even have to be a star.
Yeah. By the way,
Those-
right? You don't even have to be a
star
starter.
players.
Like the girl at LSU that's on the gym team, she's like maybe the 7th best player on the gym team.
Yeah.
Or the gymnastics team, but
Yeah.
she's killing it. She is absolutely killing it. So I don't know.
So I asked this question:
Livy Dunn.
Are they considered students or are they considered athletes?
Yes.
They're considered business people.
Yeah. They're
This is
considered
their
commodities.
Right. This is their job. They've started their careers, sir. That's what they've done. And they're doing quite well. All defense. Let me give you that one real quick. Hannah Hidalgo, Michaela Timpson, Sanaya Rivers, Jaden Donovan, Alyssa Utsby, and Sonia Citron. That's all defensive. And then all freshmen, Toby Fournier, Tajiana. Is it Tajiana?
Just call it Taj.
Okay, we'll go with Taj Roberts, Danny Carnegie, Tilda Trigger, Lanny Grant, and Kate Koval are your freshman team. And by the way, Taj made all second team as well.
She's a freshman?
Yeah.
She's a freshman, yeah.
Number 22?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's very good. She's going to be really good.
Yeah. Because she was the least touted of the freshmen that Walls brought in, because the others had the big names with McKinley Randolph, who's Zach Randolph's daughter, and Gilbert Arenas' daughter, Isella. And so
can I ask you a question?
She kind of flew under the radar.
Can I ask you a question that is completely random and off the subject completely? I've been hearing a weird rumor that Shaquille O'Neal's daughter could possibly transfer from Florida, but I haven't been able to track it down. But I've been hearing it. I've heard it the last week or so.
So what's odd about it?
Well, it's just that she may make an ACC appearance is what I'm hearing.
Is she moving down the street?
I don't know. I think. Well, again, these are just rumors, and that's all they are. But
we can. She can come and hang out with her brother. Her brother goes to FAM.
Well, listen, it could be. I think she's. Well, I don't know. I don't know if any of it.
Which one is that?
Let's start with that.
Which one is that fam? Is that Sharif? That's not Sharif, is it? He's already out of school.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember which one he is either.
It's one of the, he got.
Shaq's got a lot of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Shaq's got a lot of kids. Like,
quite a few. So I'm not sure which son this is, but I'm sure the daughter.
I mean, he's not putting up Nick Cannon numbers, but he's got.
Well, his all with one, at least he's got one baby mama.
Who?
No, he's got
Shaq.
two.
Shaq got two baby mama. Oh yeah, the oldest daughter is from.
We forget about the oldest daughter. Yeah. But he's only got two. So which I guess is an accomplishment. I guess. But
These days and times.
In these days and times, that is an accomplishment. So anyway, that is what's going on. Like I said, we're down to the wire. We're headed to the end. And it's getting good. It's getting gooder and gooder, as they say. Any thoughts, guys, on what we just witnessed in the combine? Like, anybody surprise you or any standout performances in the combine for you?
It's good to see Tyler Shuck have a good showing in the combine.
I think Tyler may have played himself into at minimum a second or third round.
Yeah, I think so.
That's that man. I'm so happy for him. Because listen, this is one of the few times where the transfer portal really, really worked. Like multiple transfer portals worked. It doesn't normally work, but this time it has worked very, very, very well.
Yeah, he came in. He's a mature player, mature kid. He's been through a lot, and finally got a season where he was able to finish throughout the season, and he put up the numbers that he was expected to put up throughout. So yeah, it was a big time for him. And Miller Moss has come in, and he's trying to do the same thing. He'll develop in spring football practice this week, and so Miller Moss is out there getting the reps, and so we'll see.
Can we also address one of the things that happened post combine? I don't know if you guys heard about it. You probably did. But apparently there was a quarterback coach, an anonymous quarterback
It's always
coach.
an anonymous coach. That comes out hating on the black quarterback.
Right. Said some very disparaging things about Shedeur and his arrogance, and I wouldn't take him, and this, that, and the other. I want to be very clear. I will distance you guys if you want to be from these thoughts. These will just be my own thoughts. First of all, quarterback coach, put your name on it. Don't be a coward.
No.
Put your name on it.
Right.
No putting your name on it.
Yeah, put your name on it. Don't be a coward. Put your name on it.
He doesn't want that heat. His job may be on the line.
But it's okay to give Shedeur that heat.
Well,
So let me say this. I have been following Shedeur the entire time. I even subscribe to the Well Off Media podcast, so I see first of all, Shedeur and Cam Ward need their own reality show because they are hilarious together. The shade that they throw each other during their workouts is comedy at its finest. They are hilarious together. But the other part of it is they're good kids. They're good guys. They're really good kids who are just trying to go and play this game and be the best that they can possibly be. And yes, they are doing the same thing that Carson Beck is doing with his 2 cars. So I loathe people who anonymously sit in the shadows and throw shade at people or throw rocks and hide their heads. So I want to applaud Josina Anderson and Doug Farrar who outed that story. I thank them for that because you know what? I think liars should be put out in the shadows and exposed by the light every single time. You're a sad quarterback coach. And if you're a Giants, by the way, if you're with the Giants, you should be fired. That's what I think. So that's my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that bothers me, Charlie. I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, I get you. However,
okay.
I agree that, if you're going to make an anonymous quote, put your name on it. But some people don't want that heat because of the fear of their name being out associated with the quote that is not properly popular. But that's people, But the other thing is that's his opinion. Like I heard that as well on talk radio the other day, and that is his opinion of and thought process of Shedeur or Cam or whomever it may be that they were talking about. But when it's all said and done, you just need one team. And so I don't know who team he represents or what have you. I'm sure there are others that see that brassness as an opportunity for him to be the best that he can be in them crucial moments. You want somebody that has confidence in their ability, and they backed it up. And so, some people may see it differently, and it's one man's opinion, but there are other teams out there that may not have the same opinion, and all you need is one team to kind of like you. So
I just think it's an act of cowardice. I hate it. I can't stand
it. I mean, you can set your clock to it. Like shortly after the combine, if there's black quarterbacks that are expected to go high, this comes out every time. Every time. It came out with Lamar. I mean, it's the same thing. It happens every time. And the crazy thing is, some version of it that goes back to the same old tropes. We see it every year, every time it's black quarterback. You don't hear about this when the quarterback field is all white dudes. And you're gonna tell me Baker Mayfield doesn't come off as arrogant? But I mean, don't get it twisted. I love Baker Mayfield, but I mean, let's not do that. Let's not act like he's less arrogant than Cam Ward was coming when he was coming out. So
Johnny Manziel wasn't arrogant,
right? Yeah.
Come on, let's stop,
1,000 times more arrogant than Lamar. But
Johnny Football had his moments. I mean,
he had his moments.
They did.
He still has his moments. Johnny still has his moments.
I'm just saying. I just hopefully, and I don't think it will. I don't think it will matter to most actual football people, because like you said, Charlie, you actually want your quarterback to have that measure of confidence in himself. And I don't think there's anything that he said, because I did listen to all of his interviews, and I'm saying he didn't say anything that was remotely arrogant. He just said, listen, I've done what everybody is saying needs to be done in the situation of the teams that need a quarterback. At Jackson State, I went to a program that wasn't winning and won. At Colorado, I went to a program that wasn't winning and won. So I have a track record of winning in programs or situations that have not had great success in a few years. What's wrong with that answer? Like, I don't get it. I don't.
It's not. I mean, if we're being honest though, I mean, Shador is arrogant. We know he is. I mean, but it's fine. It's
arrogance or is it confidence?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, that's them though. Okay. He's Deion's kid. That's both. That's them. Well, but, it's and if we're being honest, the way this time of the year works with any of the league, there's so many people lying right now. Whoever said that is probably the team that wants to draft him, and he's just saying it to throw other teams off the set. They do that stuff.
That's a good point. That is a good point, because the lies are aplenty right now.
Yeah, this is lie. They're just all lying right now, so it's lying season.
I'll say this. I think the Giants have done a masterful job of lying these past few years. I don't think they have truly wanted any of the names that they floated out at all. I do not believe that at all.
By the way, I told you that Stafford was going to stay with the Rams.
You did. You did say that. You did say that. And kudos to him for playing the game, because he got his number where he needed it to be. They restructured it perfectly, and he got the number that he wanted. So that's all it is at the end of the day. It's a business conversation.
My Cowboys, they restructured their quarterbacks. Now they got $56 million.
Don't do that.
Their contracts. They have $56 million in cap space now.
Who, the Cowboys?
And now they're going to spend 55 of it on Michael Parsons.
Yeah. He won't be. He's going to get 55 a year, but I mean, he's going to get a chunk of it. They have money to go out and get. They got money to go out and get somebody, but they won't.
They won't. It's what it is.
CD Lamb and Dak Prescott both restructured their deals, but I don't trust Jerry. I wouldn't. If I were them, I wouldn't have restructured anything, because he's not going to go out. He's not going to use that money.
Right.
So
I wouldn't restructure anything.
So I'm sitting here watching the combine list.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Who does Miami have coming back?
That's a good question. I just know they got Carson Beck. That's all I know.
I would say back, I don't know.
Because their defensive line, they got Tyler Barron on here. Their linebackers, they got the Francisco, whatever his name is, Magua, who was pretty good. They got offensive line, Jalen Rivers, who's their best offensive lineman. They lost the quarterback, of course. I think their running back here is Damian Martinez. And then the tight ends, Elijah Arroyo, who's solid for them.
He's very solid.
And then I look on the wide receiver list.
Yeah, all of them.
They got Sam Brown Jr., Jacoby George, Xavier Restrepo,
Restrepo.
and I'm like, who the hell coming back?
They just reload, Charlie. You know that. They have a long history of reloading. Just ask them.
Charlie, I've announced this to you before on this show, and I will announce it again. The U is back. Back to being what is the question? But they are back, and I don't know. Charlie, I don't know.
And especially with the O line, you really have a lot of questions. And then Carson Beck, it's
not Cam Ward.
No.
Well, I was going to say they paid a ton, and by the way, they paid a ton of money to Carson Beck.
Yeah, they did.
So, which means
enough to where he got his Lamborghini stolen.
Right, which is probably which means they're probably gonna have a lot of money to spread across the rest of that roster. So,
and he's coming off an injury to his arm.
To me, I just I understand why they do it, like, but
yeah,
to me, he's not going to take them to the next level of getting into the playoffs.
I 100% agree.
And they pay, and somewhere they said they paid like $4 million.
I think it's $4 million. That's the number I heard too. The number I heard too.
That is crazy. Like, I understand.
I mean, it's good work if you can get it.
I agree. I'm just saying, whoever the GM is, might be like my man Nico at this point. You know, like worried or should be worried. It's just, I just know.
What does Miami have to achieve this year to justify those numbers? Nothing short of an ACC title, right? Nothing short.
You got to be playing the championship game.
Yeah.
For that amount of money, yeah.
At least.
Good luck,
and then
Miami. Good luck.
Then you're hoping that you can get in the playoffs.
You got to win. You got to win the Stellenberger Boots Trophy. You got to win that for the second year in a row.
All right. Charlie, I'm with you. The thought process.
That's the trophy that Louisville and Miami play for. It's some bronze Howard Schnellenberger boots. That nobody really associates with Howard Schnellenberger.
Charlie, Miami, good luck to you.
Should have been a pipe. Should have been a pipe.
I think they just
should have been a pipe. Yeah, pipe is
overpaying for people.
It feels like.
You know, that's the Miami way.
But they're not the only ones. Let's be clear.
No.
They're not the only ones. There are a lot of people that overpay.
No.
A lot of people overpay. We were actually relatively close to a full-on meltdown in Ohio State, and somehow they found a way to turn it around. So let's be clear. He was halfway out the door.
And I give a shout out to Louisville because we have no idea what the numbers were for Miller Moss. We don't get their numbers. Their numbers aren't on Front Street as much as they are for like other schools. But you know they pay
the kid from USC, right?
Yeah. To me, he should have been middle of the road. Like,
but you know they paid for him.
I understand they paid for him.
A good amount to get him from USC. But yeah, you're right. But I mean, if we're being real, Carson Beck ain't $4 million either.
No.
Carson Beck is nowhere near $4 million in my opinion. That is a gross overpayment.
I'll take a solid $1 million quarterback, develop him over, or if he has something to work with, I should say, and then get him in the system and then work with them with what we have. But to go and pay for a guy who, to me, was on Carson Beck, for instance, he was on a really, really good team. Like, he was on a good team with great defense.
I would pay $4 million if his offensive line his year before last offensive line was coming.
I was going to say this year's offensive line was.
I was going to say right, not this year, but the year before last. If they're coming with him, then I'd pay $4 million. Which just solely for him, no.
Which made him to me, showcase what kind of talent elevation
Yes.
he could be to a team because he didn't have the best offensive line this past year, and he struggled up until
Mightily.
fourth quarter of games
Hmm.
when
Mightily.
he got
Yes.
hot. Um, and against Florida, they were just fortunate that the quarterback got hurt. Likely, I think he
Hmm.
got hurt in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Um, but he wasn't very good against very good defense. I would say that.
Mm-mm.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. I don't know
So
what they were thinking, but good
I'm
luck to
happy.
them.
Yeah, I'm happy.
You seem pleased, Charlie. I'm not gonna lie to you. You seem deeply pleased by all of this.
No, I mean it is what it is. But
I feel like an old
Who did
rivalry
Florida?
is
Did
still.
Florida State get somebody? Who did they get? A quarterback.
They did. They got they have a new
Castellanos.
quarterback.
Oh, that's right. They got Castellanos from Boston College.
That'll be interesting. But y'all didn't pay $4 million though, right? Y'all
No.
didn't pay.
They may have paid $1 million though.
That's what I'm
Is he
saying.
worth $1 million? Is he worth $1 million?
Well, in this day and
You're
age,
worth what somebody's willing to pay you.
yeah. In this day and age, that's a bargain
Very
for a
Right.
good
That's very
for
true.
a solid quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to say he's over the top, but what the thing is that what you have around you definitely can play a big part
Yeah.
in your success as well. And so they surrounded him with some really good players, talent
Yeah.
wise. So we'll see.
All right. Well, should be a fun weekend. I don't think I do want to ask you this, Charlie. This is just us, now talking about other stuff that's going on in the world. Are you as impressed with? Because Kendra and I talked about this yesterday. Are you as impressed with what is going on with uh, age 40 LeBron as we are? Like, that's 50,000 points. That's a lot of points.
I
God,
said that.
now, he's been there a long time, but still,
Yeah.
50,000 points is a lot of points.
Well, the dude's been playing forever. I mean,
Yeah.
this is his 22nd year, and he came in. When he came in, he was a top player. So
Yeah.
to eclipse that mark, it's a lot of points.
Yeah.
But his career, dictated it. He was at Cleveland, and he was the king there. He scored a lot of points there. So everywhere he's gone, he's scored a lot of points. So yes, it's a big number, but for his career, it's understandable. And so, it probably won't ever be done again. Um, because how many people played the 22 years and played a high level at 22?
Right.
You're 22. I mean,
There's only been, how many people have actually played the 22? Is Vince and LeBron? Is that the list?
it's not very many guys.
It's
I was
not
gonna
very
say,
many, yeah.
it's
And
a
still, and
handful
especially ain't
at
that many
best.
that's still dominant.
Well, dominant
He's
shrinks
it.
the list. I was gonna say dominant shrinks the list down to one, but it's Vince stayed a long time as well. Before we all let you guys go, any thoughts on the Bosa release? That was kind of surprising.
That was surprised. That was surprised by that. But yeah.
Well, let's just be honest. In this day and age, what is surprising?
Right.
I mean,
That's
anything in this day and age. I mean, you may not understand it, but to me, I don't think it's surprising because they. I mean, people. We do anything. We wake up and we're like, oh, that happened. It's like a shock, but it's not really. To me, it's not a surprise that, especially in sports, that someone that you feel is maybe untouchable get touched. I mean, let's think about Luka.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess it's almost like it feels like these teams are having tariffs put on their basket, their sports teams, because it's like, You're getting rid of. It's so hard to find good players, and to be so willing to get rid of good players. It's like
they got rid of him and Khalil Mack.
Right. So the very foundation of your team, of your defense, you gutted it for I don't know.
So with a lot of young players, and I think Jared Verse, guys like that, they kind of skew people's thought processes
100%.
because
100%.
if you have draftable talent that's very similar in the sense of a Joey Bosa. And Joey Bosa, let's be honest, I mean, he's been injured a lot.
Yeah, he has been injured a lot
over his career. And so at some point, you're like, why don't we just go get someone that's very similar to him? They may be younger, but they may be the Jared Verse, where they come in and wreak havoc. Or we can go find someone in free agency to go to the other side, and we match those two up, then we could still have, a formidable, and they may be younger, than Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. And so you never know the thought process behind it, and money may be a driving force as well.
It's all money.
It's definitely all money.
Trying to make that work.
The Chargers aren't exactly in a win now mode, so it's a money thing. It's been with the salary caps and everything. I mean, it's just a cap move.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe Dallas will go out and spend part of that $56 million they freed up
on Joey Bosa
and bring in another pass rusher. Yeah, because that's what they need. They need somebody who can stop the run. That's not exactly Joey Bosa's thing. So,
all right. Well, listen.
DK Metcalf is out there.
He is. That wasn't surprising.
It wasn't really surprising. Schefter was saying though, like for them to move him, they'd have to move heaven and earth because he wants to be traded to a contender and he wants a new contract. So that's going to take a lot.
I don't think he's getting both. I think he can get the movement for sure, but because anybody that's trading for him, they don't have the draft capital, or why would you give up the draft capital to do that? Like, and then have to pay him, the type of money that he's going to want to ask. I don't think they're getting both. He's going to have to go to a team where they build, they're building. It feels more like that's his reality. So, okay, so who are we shouting out today, guys? Who are we leaning towards? Charlie Ward.
I'm shouting out Coach Leonard Hamilton.
That's right.
Coaching his last home game on Saturday, and hopefully we can win. They had a tough loss the other night. Who did lose to? We lost by 3 to somebody. Who did we lose to? Forgot who it was. Virginia.
You lost 60 to 57 to Virginia.
Yeah, we lost to Virginia.
But they're still fighting though.
Yeah, but the game we should have won. But nonetheless, that happens. But just happy for him and his career. Think he's going to retire? I don't know. But I think he's going to retire at 70. I think he's tired of all the other stuff.
Yes.
That goes along with, the head coaching spot. And he's helped a lot of coaches in their career, give them starts, especially black coaches. Coach Stan has been with them forever. Stan Jones, who's another great guy. Those two guys have been together for quite some time, and they will definitely be missed. So I'm looking forward to being there. Hopefully I can get a ticket.
Stop.
I got to reach out to see if I can get a ticket somewhere.
I feel like I should, just on you know what I'm saying?
And that was a Charlie Ward. Humble flex.
Come on, Charlie. Come on.
I got called to get a ticket. Right now, I don't have a ticket.
Stop it. As I turn around and see Castanets on First Take.
Hilarious. Oh,
what are we doing?
I don't know. But shout out to that kid for maximizing his moment. I'm not even mad at him.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him at all.
But
who is that?
Castanet.
Not even YouTube. He's like a Twitch. I think is his main. He makes most of his money on Twitch. I think.
Yeah.
Which is the gaming
platform.
Yeah. But he's got millions of followers, and it's going well for him because he's maximized his moment.
Him and Drewski.
He's somewhat funny. The kid's somewhat funny, So my shout out is the same one that's in the chat. I got to give it up to Doug Gottlieb for putting together a masterful season. It takes a lot of effort to go 4. And
you know who's on his staff that I didn't realize till the other day?
Who's that?
Jerry Smith. That used to play at Louisville.
Shut up. For real?
Yes. Yeah, Jerry's on his staff.
Jerry is not used to this type of mediocrity.
No.
4-28, Charlie. They are 4-28.
But I mean, for a guy like Gottlieb, who was an analyst,
an arrogant analyst.
Yeah, and he talked about a lot of coaches, and what have you. And so now, to me, I'm happy for him to get this experience, because a lot of people think that winning is easy, and on the outside looking in, somebody else's job is always undesirable, or they're not doing a good job, or whatever the case may be. When you get in the mix and you're in the fire, and you figure out, okay, well, maybe that job is difficult.
Well, part of the problem too, Charlie, is he's not totally in the fire because he's still doing his podcast. How much in the fire is he really in it?
Will he change? Will he change? Do you think this will change him? Because he's still arguing with people on Twitter. This guy got in an argument with Adam Schefter. Fam, what are you doing? Like, focus
why did you get an argument with Adam Schefter about what?
That exactly. Like, I don't even know what that was about. He was arguing with Adam was reporting some story that had nothing to do with basketball at all, and Doug Gottlieb challenged him on it. I'm like, fam, you should probably focus on win number 5. Like, don't worry about what Adam is doing. Win number 5. That's probably where your emphasis should be. Like, I don't know if it'll change him. I don't know if he's going to learn anything from this.
Well, I don't know why he took the job, or where he is. That's
also a good question.
I don't know why he took the job.
I don't know why they offered it and let him do this. I mean, I get you, Wisconsin, Green Bay, but come on.
This reeks of a level of desperation that I can't even fathom. Like, I can't even fathom sitting around.
But they wanted the attention. That's what they were going for.
But there are so many other guys and so many other directions.
Yeah.
And far better assistant coaches that you could have gone after before you ever got to the name Doug Gottlieb.
They wanted the big splash.
Well, they got it. They're talking right now. They're talking to the NCAA.
I want to get the support that he needs at Wisconsin Green Bay. I know
they letting him do his stupid podcast, so I guess they letting him do whatever he wants to do.
I mean, but it's
but the financial part of it, I don't know. As far as NIL and all that.
The podcast is not a big issue. Because I mean, coaches do weekly shows.
But he does his daily, and he travels for it. Like he was at Radio Row during the Super Bowl.
And it's not a Green Bay podcast.
Right. It's his regular podcast.
It's just regular. It's him still talking about other programs and what they're not doing and who needs to do what. Like, fam, like, you need to focus. Like, this feels wildly unfocused.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it's still a national podcast.
Doug. We need you to lock in, brother. Like, you know.
But this may humble him.
I don't know. Doug's a really arrogant dude. Like he is really, really arrogant.
Well, maybe he needs to be released before he can, and then he can argue with people about why he got fired.
It's not going to be his fault.
Oh no. He'll blame the coaches, the water board, the training staff, the facilities, the alumni, the fans. Right. It'll be everybody's fault but his, for sure.
Throwing everybody under the bus.
Everybody. Yep. A big gigantic Greyhound rolling down the street, just with bodies being tossed under it as it goes.
Would they be sipping gin and juice?
I don't know. In Doug's case, it might be cognac.
In Wisconsin, it's probably beer.
That's probably true. That's probably more on brand. Miller to be specific.
It's a Miller High Life.
Miller High Life.
We know that.
Miller High Life.
We know that whatever he's drinking will need to be American made, because everything else is gonna be out the wazoo.
Right. They can't afford anything else. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right.
I gotta give my shout. I haven't given my shout.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta give your shout out there.
I shout out to the person on this shirt, the great John Bowl, a longtime anchor, won over 100 plus, maybe even 200 plus Emmys in his career. Just called it a career. His last show was last Friday. We all wore these shirts for him on his final day on the air. Great guy. He's been a mentor to so many people in this market. And
100%.
Not just in news. I mean, other than being a spectacular news reporter and news anchor, he's also been somebody who's always been willing to give back to younger reporters and anchors and stuff. I've learned a ton from him just standing next to him every night. And so happy retirement. He's moving back to his home state of Wisconsin. We're going to do a lot of ice fishing and hunting and a whole lot of fish. This dude, Charlie, he would get done with the 11 o'clock news and go fishing. Midnight. So he's done Ironman competitions and all this stuff, and so he's one of the greats, and he just called it a career last week. So shout out to Mr. John Bowl.
That is wild to think that the refined and unbelievably professional and very good at his job, John Bowles, is an avid fisherman. Those are not two things I thought that would go together.
Yeah, that's one of the pictures on this shirt. Yeah, right there is him holding a fish.
That is not how I saw that.
And then that's him from his Ironman competitions.
So. That's cool. That's very cool. That's very cool.
So he's awesome.
Also, I want to give a shout out to my my homeboy Byron Lusby, who is who will be joining us at some point here in the next couple of weeks, because he is a former scout for the Indianapolis Colts, and he's going to join us for some draft talk. And also, he is the proud father of his freshman daughter, Bryn, who is at the University of the Incarnate Word, who is right now, I think, in the tournament, doing their thing, trying to wrap up their tournament or trying to win their conference, whatever that conference they're in. They're doing their thing there, so he is there supporting his baby girl. So shout out to them. She's a phenomenal player. I selfishly would like to see a bigger school come along and snatch her up. But but at the Incarnate Word, she's doing fantastic. So shout out.
Good. I have one. I just like these type of players because it kind of sums up who I was as a player. Last night, something happened in the NBA that had never or had very rarely happened. Had two players score 40 points, and the two players aren't the superstars.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. Peyton Pritchard had 43 or 43, and Derek White, who I mean, I'll take on my team in a heartbeat, had 41 points.
Yes.
One of them had 9 threes. And
that was probably Peyton Pritchard.
And the other one had close to that. I think
Derek had 9 and Peyton had
10. So I just want to give them dudes a shout out because
yes,
Derek, of course, is like fourth wheel on a really good team, but he's like a glue guy. Mm-hmm. And Peyton Pritchard is a bench player, and I mean, they were on fire last night, and I just
and by the way, needed every one of those points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100.
Yeah, needed every one of those points
because you had three starters out, or whatever it is, and so you needed all of those points from both of those guys. But that just goes to show you kind of the depth and how the 3-point shot can definitely elevate.
The wildest stat that I saw this morning on Get Up was they said throughout the franchise history, the Celtics have had 65% of their games have had 2 Hall of Famers on the floor at the same time. And it's not even counting Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So it's probably closer to 70. But this was the first time in franchise history that 2 players had 40 points in the same night. And it's like Charlie said, it's the 2 that's not the superstars on the team.
Right.
So that stat is unbelievable.
And I love both those guys. I'd take both those guys in a heartbeat, especially, and no disrespect to Pritchard, because I think he's a phenomenal player and probably is going to win 6th Man of the Year this year.
Sure.
But
he gets in you defensively.
Oh, phenomenal. But I would take Derek White over.
Well, that's why he
30%
made
of the Lakers roster right now.
That's why he was added to the Olympic team over Jaylen Brown. Nothing against Jaylen Brown, but Jaylen Brown wasn't a good fit for that team, and so
for what they needed. Yeah,
I commend USA basketball for making that. It was hard, but he was just a better fit for that group.
Yep.
When they made that decision.
100%. Well, people, that's all we got for you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. We definitely enjoyed doing it. We always do. It's going to be a fun weekend, seeing how the women's tournament wraps up. We got a huge game on Saturday night with Duke and North Carolina. Everybody else is ending their season as well, so that should be interesting. Probably not a lot of fireworks toward the end, but it could be some significant fireworks toward the end. And then we are off and running. March Madness is upon us, so let's get ready for it. Next week we are fluid, as Stephen A. Smith would say, because we have some other responsibilities, tournament responsibilities, there's some business responsibilities, so we may or may not be here next week. We'll see how it goes, but we'll keep you posted and post if we are, or if you don't see us, then you know why. So there you go. You know why. But that's the great Kendrick Haskins. That's the incomparable Charlie Ward. I'm Lloyd Spence. This is Believe in the ACC. I have to slow down these days. We got so many things going on. But we'll see you next time.